Hi everybody, Dr. Morales here. So this video is a little different. I'm not showing you how to do anything. I'm just kind of sharing my philosophy a little bit more about how chiropractic care actually fits in with people's regimens, fitness regimens. And so I guess I'll just start off with, what does a spinal manipulation do? And what does chiropractic care actually do, right? So essentially what I do is, I'm sure my patients can skip through this because this is what I tell them, but essentially what I do is I find tension in the spine, I find where range of motion is lacking, I find where your spine should move in a certain way but it doesn't. Those are the kinds of things that I look for. And I do that with spinal exams, I do that with orthopedic tests, things like that, muscle tests, just to see how your body reacts, okay? And so essentially what I do is I perform spinal manipulations or the adjustments to allow for that range of motion and allow for that communication from your brain going into your muscles and your organs, just so that you know, if the highways are free, the communication is that much better, right? It's lightning quick, like it should be, right? And so that's the goal for me, is to adjust you guys, adjust my patients so that you can live your best life. And unfortunately, because of how the body, well, fortunately and unfortunately, right? Because it's just a matter of figuring out a delicate balance of stretching versus strengthening for stability, and then stretching for flexibility, right? So there's a delicate balance depending on where you are in the body and what your goals are as the patient. So that kind of is a segue into, how long do you have to go to the chiropractor? I get this question a lot, or I see it a lot on social media, where it's like, do I have to go to the chiropractor all the time now? Like, am I addicted now? Or I don't know what other, do I have to go? It's like, no, you don't have to go. And so don't tell anyone I told you that though. No, every chiropractor practices differently, and the way I practice is I get you out of the injured state, right, and with a certain amount of adjustments, a certain amount of visits, but I don't only adjust you. I think that's where I kind of am set apart from the kind of straight chiropractors. I'm kind of like, I'm not a straight chiropractor, I'm kind of like a mixed chiropractor where I do soft tissue work sometimes, not all the time, but I have in the past, and so you can't get away from the muscles, in my opinion, right? I can adjust you, but if you don't work on these muscles, sometimes they will just go back to where they used to be because of muscle memory. I think I've spoken to a couple of my patients about that, but if you're an athlete or an ex-athlete, you'll know muscles have muscle memory, right? And so every time you get adjusted, let's say your neck or your upper back, low back, whatever it may be, after an acute stage of injury, then your body will just kind of go back to where it used to be, because that's what it remembers. And so anyway, back to how long do you have to go to the chiropractor? So let's say it depends, honestly, how your body reacts, and what kind of, and it sounds bad, but what kind of training do you need, right? And so a lot of times people come in with low back pain, or leg pain radiating down their legs, and it's the core issue is the core and the glutes, where they're just not activating the muscles the way that they should and when they should, and they're not using their body the way they should, and so that puts other muscle groups in a compromised position. And when that happens, those muscles get worked overtime, and the attachments to those muscles end up kind of getting pulled out of place, sometimes pushed out of place, depending on what aspect you're coming from. But that's kind of where I come in, where I see the pattern in your spine of, okay, this person always leans this way, so that's why they have a big muscle. They have pain on this side, but they have a big muscle bulge on this side in their back muscles. It's because they're always contracting on the right side and elongating the other side. So I keep trying to tell them to shift to the other side, because naturally, your muscles will be able to shift that way if you make them. It's a habit, right? So if you always do this, then your body's going to get used to that. So you have to kind of do the other side. That way it'll kind of balance out. Okay. So it depends on how your body responds to the adjustments. Most of the time, people come to me with when you're injured, which is fine. And so that just means that I need to adjust you as quickly as possible, so that you can get the joints back to where they should be. That way they can heal as quickly as possible. And then where was I? I was talking about when I see you guys. Yeah, you guys come to see me when you're hurt. So when we get you out of pain, that is when a lot of times people kind of say, okay, well, see you later, doc. And which is fine. I mean, I don't judge anybody by doing that, because I mean, there's extraneous circumstances that are out of your control, or whatever it may be. And so you get you out of pain, great, but now you have to kind of retrain the muscles after that period of time, and you kind of have a window after you're done being in pain. Your body it has that little window of okay, let's get this back into the right position. And so how you do that is with adjustments, to make sure that your body is keeping the adjustments as well as possible, and as long as possible. And you do that with exercises, postural exercises, which is what I have been posting about. I'm sure if you've seen my channel, you'll see that I post a lot about postural stuff. I post a lot about pelvic, like glute stuff, that way, like glute bridges, glute activation, that kind of stuff, core activation. These things are the heart and soul of a lot of the pain of people. I literally saw this in an article where 90% of non-specific low back pain is actually due to the core being insufficient. It's an imbalance between the core and the glutes. And interestingly enough, I learned a lot. In the middle of your thighs, right? And so your hip flexors and your hip adductors. But anyway, so a lot of the issues that we see as chiropractors, in my opinion, what I see anyway, is postural stuff, postural issues, that tweaking that needs to be done. But that happens to everybody, I find myself doing that when I'm doing notes. I'll just be sitting like this, doing notes like this. I mean, it happens to everybody, and so you just have to, step number one is being aware. You have to be aware of the issues that you're having. Like if you're having neck pain, I wonder why. Let's adjust the posture and see if that helps. If not, let's do some stretches, and then let's get a massage, or get a tennis ball and kind of do like that. So there's little things that you can do that can help you avoid these kinds of things. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you understand how to interpret the signals that your body is giving you, which tends to be pain, achiness, tenderness a lot of times, and then also range of motion. I get questions with clickiness. I get questions with every time I do this, it hurts, or it clicks, and so it's just, I love answering your guys' questions. It's great to hear the curiosity, and also it's great that I can alleviate a lot of the concerns. Sometimes people, they go online and they say, hey, I have left wrist pain, and they go on WebMD or whatever other website there is, and they come away 4 hours later thinking they have stage 2, I don't know, cancer of some sort, right? I mean, it's just it's crazy the kind of rabbit hole that people can go through when they're just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, right? And so I love being that person to say, hey, you know what were you doing a couple days ago? Well, I was, studying, and I, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, how do you do in that subject? Well, not doing too good, so I was studying really hard. And I was like, okay, so how do you study? What do you do? And they're like, well, when I study like this, and then they're like, oh, I think that's it. Those kinds of things where it's just like, wow, okay, so maybe it's just that your wrist hurts because of the position that you had been in for a couple of hours trying to study. Not that you have stage 2 cancer of whatever sort that you looked up. Those are the best kinds of consults that I have, right? Because I see the weight just kind of melt away, and that just makes for a great appointment. So yeah, so anyway, to wrap it up, you guys, do you have to come to the chiropractor forever? No. At the end of the day, once you get the hang of understanding how to take care of yourself and how to take care of your body when it does get kind of weird, like let's say, something is kind of out of your hands where you sleep wrong, right? If you sleep wrong, your neck's going to be out of whack or your back's going to be out of whack. Come on in and I'll adjust you, get you fixed up. It might take a couple of sessions, but it's not going to take nearly as long as it would have if you hadn't been, given this nice base, strong base that I like to give you guys. So anyway, yeah. So long story short, no, you don't have to come all the time. I'd love to see you every once in a while, every month or so. And so, yeah. All right. Have a good one, guys.